Hi, I'm Vineet.
Hi, Vineet.
My work is with sustainability education.
Yeah.
And
What's sustainability education? Can you educate me briefly?
It's about what it will take to create a situation where planetary systems can regenerate themselves.
That kind of stability, yeah.
Yeah, this also includes equity, social justice, that treating each other with respect and that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah. What you said about taking one's hands off the wheel and accepting reality as it is resonates. And in the world I spend a lot of time in, a lot of the nonprofits, there's a real sense of urgency, which I think is justified, about what it will take and how that translates to what we as humanity must do. Things we must do more of or do differently, or in some cases do less of. But in any case, it requires a lot of attention on having us all move into a new space of treating the earth differently. Yeah. And that feels quite at odds with taking our hands off the wheel, at least in the sense of my position of advocating for us to do more, do differently.
Oh, I see. Yeah, not necessarily. Not in the way I see it. Not necessarily. Because the taking the hands off the wheel doesn't necessarily have much to do with ultimately what you do or don't do. When you take your hands off the wheel, you find out what's natural for you to do. Natural for you to do. So that what you're doing isn't being derived from fear or from ideas or all that kind of stuff. You know, ideas, concepts, blah, 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 or fear.
Or a need to control.
Or control, the need to control, right. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't do the work you do. Not at all. In fact, I would suggest that it's very possible that if you were drawn to that sort of work, that you would probably do the work much better. See, the difference is along these lines you're speaking of, and probably about now people in the audience are going, he's not going to give that damn speech again, is he? But sorry, I don't have another one. I've shortened it up to a good minute, you might have noticed, but it's all I've got. Sorry, folks. But as long as people keep asking the question, ultimately, what's not sustainable is what we create from our own inner division, right? We ruin the earth. We ruin each other. We abuse the earth. We abuse each other. We are very unconscious in the way we move in the world of time and space. And ultimately, it comes down to a disconnection from reality and a division, an internal division inside. Now, since everything on the external is manifesting the internal, if we are trying to correct the external through a division, if we're emotionally divided about it, you'll be creating the very problem you're trying to solve. So if we have some emotional division against, say, let's just say, for example, and I'm not saying this about you because I have no idea, I'm just saying in general. If we have any emotional division in us against the people we think is creating the problems, that division will be made manifest. And that inner division will ultimately be made manifest in a way that is many, many more times powerful than everything we do on the outside. When you see the underlying nature of things, you see, my God, that's the way things work. And so I say, sure, do everything all of us should do what we're called to do. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you. We should all be doing what we're called to do. But if we're doing it from a divided state, we are actually manifesting the very problems that we're trying to solve. And we're often afraid of seeing through that division because we're afraid our motivation to do anything might disappear. If I wasn't divided, if I didn't go, my God, we're destroying everything, that I might not be involved anymore. I might just sit on a couch and let it all go to hell. You know? You might. You might. You might not. You might not. So I wouldn't link what you do or not do to anything I've been saying. What I'm speaking about is really seeing through the inner divisions, because ultimately that's what's creating the outer divisions. And so I would hope that all of us, in whatever way we feel called, are responding to our calling, but hopefully our calling is not at the same time manifest in our own divisions, emotional and psychological divisions and fears and angers. Because if it is, you feed one kid with this hand, and a generation later, you've created 100 more. But you just get the good pleasure, since you'll be dead by that time, of thinking all we're doing is good. It's very easy to get, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To get like that. And I think, it's an easy thing for us all to see. I think we've all done it in our own ways. We've all tried to cure something by being a strident, divided, devotee of non-division. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, to me, this is a very mysterious thing. So here I am talking to you. I don't think you need to hear me. I don't know if this will solve anything. I don't actually even know why I'm doing it. I can make up a story, but I know that would be a story. But even without all of that, those motivating factors and purposes and all the rest, here I am doing it. Here I am doing it, you see. But if I thought I had a mission, you see, I'd be transmitting a certain type of division within you. I'd be transmitting a division. A mission comes from a division. It comes from a fear. Do you see what I mean? I don't know if this answer gets to what you're speaking, but...
I do, but that sparks something else, and that is that... Speak into it? Okay, great, thanks.
You're good.
Okay, thanks. It's been my sense that there's a resistance to feeling the fear of actually what we collectively are generating and the destruction of the ecosystems and so forth.
Yes.
So...
But feel it. Take solace. If we screw it up too much, it's going to summarily dismiss us from its surface. It will look bad for a while, but it will regenerate itself. It will get rid of us if we screw it up too much. I find great solace in that. I don't think that the most important thing in the whole world is that humanity survives. What means that we should survive anything more than anything else? Do you see what I mean? Not that I don't want us to survive, but that's why I have no particular, at least for the human being's part. If we screw it up too much, it'll get rid of us. It's done it throughout its history, hasn't it? Species get just like, thank you, we're done. You're out. You're out, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. In fact, pretty much every species pretty much gets eliminated, doesn't it? When it's no longer necessary and needed. Life moves on. This is about life. It's not about us.
It's a great reframe for the movement.
Take solace. If you love the earth, it'll get rid of us if we screw it up too much.
Well, we are taking a lot of species down with us, of course.
We are. Yes. I'm not saying that that's... yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, and we are creating all of that, and all that's happening. Yes, 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 yes. I understand that. And if that causes you to go into division against anybody or anything, you yourself will be the cause of eliminating species and creating the very havoc that you're trying to fix. That's the rub. That's the way it works. So in the end, which is always in the beginning too, it's either love or it's destruction. One of the, it's either love or division. That's it. It's either love. We got to be able to see it. It is so essential. I mean, now it comes down to us in these sort of cliche statements that we have heard 100 times, but we don't really recognize how profound they are, and Jesus is hanging on the cross. Can you imagine being crucified? Just imagine being crucified, hanging there. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's somebody whose life's being taken away from them, and is displaying a deep understanding that people don't do this who are conscious. You can't blame somebody for something they're unconscious of. You can work to correct it, yes. But to blame them, you cannot blame them. That only creates more unconsciousness. You've noticed that, have you not? Blame creates more unconsciousness, which creates more to blame, which creates more unconsciousness, and it goes throughout the generations.
Yeah, the idea is that we either all go there together or we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you and I, we do what we're called to do, and at the same time, we don't have ultimate control of where it goes, do we? And the quicker we come to peace with that, the better we can get on with what we're being called to do.
Mm-hmm.
Without fear, without division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very powerful. I could go on and on, but when it's really true, when you really are undivided, it's extraordinarily powerful, see? Extraordinarily powerful. You couldn't imagine how powerful it is. We think force is powerful. It's not. If Gandhi had picked up a gun, the British would still be in India, wouldn't they? It's all he would have needed to do. Pick up a gun and start an uprising. They would have still been there, probably. Remember? And what did he constantly say? Constantly. I'm not against the British. I'm not against them. I'm for home rule. I'm for. No energy into what he was against. None. All energy went into what I'm for. Do you see what I mean? That's an undivided being. That's a powerful being. Very powerful. We've forgotten that kind of power. The power of focusing on what you're for and not focusing on what you're against. It's extraordinarily powerful. Anyway, I'm starting to preach, so pardon me. I'm sorry. It was a lot longer than a minute, wasn't it? I know. Okay. I'll try to do better next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But even though I'm not a big activist, I always get into the longer descriptions because it is important to me. It is important to me. As I do feel for this because I see the consequences of when we're divided. So it is very important.